Hello, and welcome to another episode of Conscious Business Connections, brought to you by the New York City chapter of Conscious Capitalism. My name is Joe Laranjeiro, and I'm joined today by Gail Leibowitz. She's the co-founder of Brickz City, a woman and minority-owned for-profit enterprise. Gail, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me.
So to get us started, Gail, can you tell us a little bit about what Brickz City is, just the basic concept of the business model?
Sure. It's not as straightforward an answer as one would like, but Brick City is basically a holding company for all the things that I'm involved in. So basically, it's a real estate and media consortium that is actively developing creative campuses and rising urban neighborhoods that use film and TV as the catalyst for change.
Hmm. How did you come across starting Brick City? What led you to this?
Well, I don't think we have enough time for that in total, but the short answer is that my passion has always been in helping people. And I came to a point in my career that, I was thinking, okay, what's next? And decided to take my background in operations, my passion for helping others, and a great network of folks that I had built up over the years and put it to use. I had been tangentially in sports and entertainment for a really long time and thought that it would make a great platform to utilize and, kind of get this rolling into helping others.
I love the concept. You're bringing so much opportunity to disenfranchised, marginalized areas, right? You're creating space for folks to develop new talents and skills and abilities. You're involving all the community partners in it. You're having a real estate hotel angle connected to it. But when we talk about the purpose at its core being, it seems to me that you're really motivated by how do I bring diverse voices out into industries and business models that probably haven't seen it before, and you're giving these folks the skill sets and the tools to actually be creative and launch certain careers, right?
Absolutely. I think in thinking about this, particularly as somebody who has been in operations most of my career, we see the inefficiencies around us, whether it's government and, all of these things trying to come together and help people, but they're falling short of the mark. And I think, citizens too are looking at them to try to help. But I think, especially given this pandemic and everything that sort of has gone on, we've seen the holes in that. So my initial thinking had been like, I just feel people need to roll up their sleeves, use the government for what they can do, which is considerable, but it's from a macro level, not a micro one. Bring in corporations, bring in the stakeholders from the community, and really try to help create a business model to alleviate poverty, but in a sustainable way.
Help us understand a little bit about what the campus actually looks like and
Absolutely.
how someone interacts with the campus.
So the first one is going to be in North Philly. So the building itself is an old car factory called the Ink Factory now. It is filled with graffiti that we absolutely want to keep. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And it's about 180,000 square feet. And separate from that, we'll have some sound stages. So the core of this, or the anchor, if you will, is these TV and film sound stages. I produce film and television, so be able to drive the business to the campus. So the idea was to use that as a foundation and build out around it. So every TV and film production requires music, wardrobe, set design, art. You need a hotel, you need hospitality, you need all of these things that we have built into the campus. So in addition to the sound stages, we'll have a maker's market for artisans to make and sell their goods, but also to be able to utilize through the productions. co-creative space for musicians, studios, art spaces, even tech entrepreneurial center. I believe that tech creates a lot of content, and it is definitely germane to a lot of what we're doing. We also have an e-gaming facility. As we all know,
Hmm.
esports gaming is like the hottest thing out there, and it also creates a lot of content. So all of these things rolled in together sort of work um, in concert with one another, but can also stand alone. I think a lot of the challenges when people have startups and they have these incubator spaces and what have you, that's great. But then what? A lot of folks still need, that structure in investment, not only money, but resources. They need lawyers, they need accountants. So all of that will be as part of this campus. And they also need clients. So we're sort of a built-in client, and it's just really creating an ecosystem so the folks at the campus can utilize their goods and services within, as well as anywhere else they choose to. And it's not just for creatives. One of the reasons I went with a structure like this is because not everybody is creative, but there's so much opportunity for jobs in marketing, facilities, accounting, transportation, hospitality. So, we're really creating access, exposure, opportunity, and jobs.
Is there a training element in this as well? If you're someone who doesn't have a business or isn't entrepreneurial, doesn't have a product to create, but they want to get better skilled at doing so, is there that kind of element incorporated?
Yeah, so what I'm doing, well, first of all, let me say before training, even there's an element of development. People don't know what they don't know, and that's a huge barrier to success. I think we all assume that everybody has basic skills, and they don't. People need to learn how to show up on time, how to dress appropriately, how to be interacting and speaking, and a lot of the things that we all take for granted. So there is that element, and a lot of that will be done through performance. And I learned a lot about that through an organization I was actively involved with, the All Stars Project, specifically the Development School for Youth. And I saw how it could work. And we worked with young people between 16 and 21, gave them this training, got them into paid internships at places like JP Morgan and EMY and what have you, and really saw the success and over like a 20-year period. So it's sort of a proven concept. And I just adapted it to have a broader spectrum of use. But the idea is to partner with local workforce development groups, nonprofits, people who are already in this space. I'm not reinventing the wheel, but partner with them. And, we have the audience built in, help them with our curriculum or anything else that we want to do, and then bring the folks into the campus.
Would you see this as a potential college alternative?
Yeah, I'm actually in talks with several of the universities in Philadelphia because I think that not every profession needs to necessarily have a 4-year degree. I think intensive training, sort of like trade schools of the old days. And I think, given current economic climate and costs and things like that, I just think that this could be a great alternative for folks. And it doesn't preclude them from getting a degree, but it may help facilitate that actually.
Yeah. So this is almost a complete 360 development process. Some
It
basic
is.
skills and understanding, some technical skills then get put in. Then you're already in the environment where you can unleash it. It's already there for you. You don't have to go anywhere else. Then you add in the co-working space, you add in corporate partners. It's really from A to Z.
Yeah, and it took me a long time to think about it. How do you create a successful, sustainable business model while creating all that impact?
Right, because usually by piecemeal, there is no cohesive plan. There's no ecosystem of steps and activities. You're doing one, then you're trying to find another, and you're going in disparate ways. So I love just the comprehensiveness of full loop that this closes. From someone who wants to interact with the facility, how is the funding occur? Is there a tuition? Is a general pay for use? How is that?
Well, I mean, it
Right.
is a commercial venture. Um, so we are, renting the space, but not at a hefty sum. We're getting foundations involved, and that's where corporate sponsors come in, because that underwrites a lot of what we're doing and goes to the bottom line.
Hmm.
So, you know, from my sports days and what have you, I learned all about naming rights and sponsorships and things like that. And, while it may be a bit tacky, we will be having a lot of corporate partners with their names on this, facility, because that really ultimately will help our mission and what we hope to accomplish.
When you look back, or let's look forward 3 years from now, and when you look back 3 years from now, what would really make this a success for you?
I think, uh, besides really creating those pathways to success for folks, and sort of proving out my theory that we can, do good and well at the same time.
Mm.
I think being able to create a model for other people to use and really be able to create that catalyst to change, to creating this impact. There's really no reason why there's so much poverty in this country. And I think we all can and should do something, to alleviate it.
Yeah. So you're building a blueprint that
Yes,
can then be utilized in
any
wherever, any
industry.
urban area or non-urban area, wherever they need
Absolutely.
a little pop in opportunity and development.
Exactly. And you take whatever industry is centric to your area, even in rural communities, there are multiple things that you can do throughout different industries, but it's just a way to package it. It's a way to think about how to accomplish it.
Yeah. The word community also seems to be an important element here, that you bring people together. They interact with folks that they live with on a normal basis, they live around, and it gives them a space to come together. I'm sure that's probably a foundational part of this as well for you.
Well, it is. It's about creating a community and creating a diverse community where maybe normally folks may not interact with certain people, and we're giving them that uh, the space and the community to do so, because the truth is that's how we learn on both ends. I think people who live in poverty sometimes feel less than, and then they interact with folks who maybe have more means, but that's really the differentiator. People have same issues, same problems, same family dynamics, same everything. It's really just a matter of means that separates a lot of folks. And I think when people start to see and interact, they start to realize, oh, hey, we're really not that different. And you can always find that common ground, and we learn from each other. And it also makes for a much more compelling content story, whatever you're doing, because you have many different points of view. And I think sometimes we lack that because we are so homogenous in certain things.
Yeah, tribal. Um,
Yes.
when we're talking about conscious capitalism, there's always sometimes folks are undecided between, should I do a nonprofit business? Should I do a conscious business? Have it be for profit? Tell us about your mindset there and how you decided to ultimately roll this out.
Well, honestly, I've been on enough boards and part of enough organizations where you spend a lot of time dialing for dollars. You figure out all these events, and it's all about raising money. And I think there's a huge need and reason for nonprofits to be here and to exist. But if you're really trying to make that larger impact, you have to be making money to do so. The more you make, the more you can help people. And it's really what I started thinking about. You get a lot more buy-in. Investors are happy to partake, and they want that triple bottom line, if you will, but there has to be that ROI. Otherwise, you're just looking for handouts. Things change. The tax laws changed, and that has impacted charities and things. So I think, if you're thinking about doing something and you want to create, a bigger impact or whatever, doing it as I call myself a profit for purpose. If
Right.
you think about it from that point of view, and the more money I make, the more of these campuses I can open and the more I can help people.
Mm. Where are you on the Philly campus in terms of timing?
So we have the property secured, and hopefully at the top of the year we'll start our design process and get the construction going sometime toward, I'd say, third quarter next year.
Hmm. Are there any needs that you currently have where maybe the community can?
Well, we are due right now. I'm in the middle of a capital raise, and it's definitely, we're piecing this together. It's not somebody coming in and writing a check. The state of Pennsylvania has given us grants. The city of Philadelphia has. They've been actually wonderful partners. They're terrific. We're talking to local foundations. There's EB5. We're in an opportunity zone. This is definitely, it's challenging when you go into these rising urban neighborhoods. They are still very blighted, and it takes a lot of work and a lot of heft to get these buildings back and revitalized. And you still are putting in a lot of money, and means it's also operating money, so you've got to be able to figure it out, and that's what we're doing.
Local politics, right? Some bureaucracy probably comes into play.
I've been very fortunate with that thus far. I think people really like this. I, I I'm not a developer. I was like sort of a gal with a vision,
Mhm.
looking for a building. Um, and I think that, being a reluctant developer, I'll call myself, people see the true motivation behind this and the idea behind this. And it's not like I'm just coming in and saying, oh, we're going to donate a gym, to the kids in the neighborhood. I mean, this is a meaningful project. And I think most cities, and I've been talking to multiple cities outside of Philly as well, uh, are trying to figure out ways to bring this project there.
Yeah, especially they all have the space. There's already buildings up that aren't being utilized across cities, all over the country.
Exactly, exactly. And for us, I mean, there are certain requirements. We do need a certain amount of population. We need uh, TV and film tax credits. There are certain things that I need to do to make it successful, but that certainly covers, a large part of the country. And, we have targeted probably another 5 or 6 cities.
Who's on the short list?
Well, we're looking at the west side of Chicago, Oakland, South Central LA, kind of Dallas-ish or Houston, one of the two. We're kind of going back and forth on that, and likely Cleveland, Ohio.
Wow, so you got East, Central, West, South.
Right,
Yeah.
and likely Atlanta as well. I didn't include them, but yes. Mm-hmm.
Just quickly, how developed does Philly need to be for you to break ground on some of these other cities? Or
It
will you do
doesn't.
it simultaneously?
I will, because the truth is that it takes a long time to get these up and running.
Mm.
This is not a quick and easy solution, especially the way we're going about it. So it's timely to be talking to folks now and getting that in order because, of the time it takes. And Philly, we've taken the time to really put together the template. So the partners, the macro partners on this will likely go from campus to campus, and we populate it with the local folks.
Wow, there's so much to love about this. The community aspect, the development and training, self-development, skills development, the full ecosystem of tools, resources, access, entrepreneurial incubators, and the purpose around some disenfranchised, more marginalized communities. And this, again, also has the benefit of raising diverse voices and points of view. Um, it's phenomenal. I really
Thank
love it.
you.
And
And it's the future.
great.
I think people, you know, are going to be in for a little bit of a shock. AI is really coming about, and a lot of jobs and life as we knew it is changing and it is evolving. And, we all need to be evolving with it. And a lot of it is going to be that sort of local community for a global, platform.
Just real quick, how young would some of the participants be? Are you doing high school, younger,
Oh,
or
absolutely. I would love for a lot of young people to have that safe space to just come and hang out, you know, be part of this community, even if it's just observation or, internships, things like that. Certainly a focus of mine are people re-entering society, whether it's from the military, prison, foster care, moms having to come back. There's a lot of folks who have needs and, kind of don't have or feel that they don't have a lot of options. So we're taking away as many of those roadblocks as possible. We'll have a daycare center at the facility. We're literally at the North Philly train station. So, transportation is not an issue. And we're just trying to chip away at as many of those roadblocks as possible and make this really for the community at
wow,
large.
so much to be excited about? Maybe next year we can drive down, do an interview with some of the participants for Conscious Capitalism on site. That'd be awesome. Um,
That would be, I would love that.
yeah, we're
And
in.
we're going to be making a documentary about this as well, because I think that's the greatest way to get this out there, and show people what can be done with, just everybody kind of coming together. We have very fractured right now, and that's not helping anybody. So, this will hopefully bring together a lot of diverse people and create something that's super special that we can share around not just the US, but around the world.
Well, Gail, thank you so much. This is such a inspiring example of a for-profit business incorporating so many of the conscious business principles: purpose, stakeholder, leadership. So definitely appreciate you coming on the program, telling us a bit about it, and look forward to keeping our audience posted. I think it's something that people are going to be quite interested in. And like I said, we'll maybe broadcast one of these interviews from that location once we're ready to do so. It's a home run. So thank you so much.
Love it. Thank you, Joe.
Yeah. So quickly, how can people learn more about you or the Brick City Philadelphia chapter, or just anything in general regarding Brick City?
I'm happy to have a conversation with anybody who wants to talk. My email is Gail, Gail, at Brickz City, BRICKZCITY.com. I'm on LinkedIn, hit me up. I'm happy to have a conversation.
Cool. Yeah, we're going to link to you in the video down below, so people will have access to that. Well, Gail, thanks again. Really loved talking to you and having you on the program. And before I go, I just wanted to also thank our New York City chapter sponsors, the Core Club, as well as the Tom Young Foundation. And thank you guys for listening, and hope to see you on another episode of Conscious Business Connections.